Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Macedo is the best.
All right, let's start off with the bit of UAE news today. Read this in Al Jazeera, that is, US charges Trump ally with undisclosed lobbying for the UAE. Now, as I read this article, I'll give you also my thoughts and analysis as to how this would impact UAE or why I think UAE did this. And yeah, feel free to chime in because it's always interesting to listen to another point of view. All right. So what it says here is Thomas Barak did not publicly disclose influence work for UAE during Trump presidency, the Justice Department says. I never heard of this guy before, but I guess must have been really something, either rich or powerful. The thing that stands out is his surname. I was wondering, was he related to Barack Obama? Anyway, so Tom Barak, a billionaire ally of Donald Trump, who chaired the former president's inaugural committee in 2016, has been arrested on foreign lobbying charges, the US Department of Justice said on Tuesday. Barak, 74, was charged in a federal court in New York with 7 counts of unlawful efforts to advance the interest of UAE, the DOJ said in a statement released by the Department of Public Affairs, Washington and Washington, D.C. The US also charged Matthew Grimes, 27, an employee of Barak's investment company, and Rashid Al Malik, 43, a UAE national and one-time business associate of Barak, who was the US government, now allegedly works secretly for the UAE government. Barak will plead not guilty, a spokesman for the Associated Press said. See, where Donald Trump's allies are concerned, if you notice all the, look at the, arrests or whatever allegations that were made, or, these people were summoned by Congress or the courts. In the end, these guys just get a slap on their wrist and they go away. In fact, Donald Trump's tenure has been the most, controversial, so to say, with the maximum number of hirings, firings, people speaking against him. Now, that is not to say that Joe Biden is faring any better. Joe Biden is actually much more worse. I don't know what he has done, which promises, like he made so many promises. I'll cancel student debt, I'll get you $2,000 minimum payment, stimulus checks. I don't know how much has he met. I don't think he has, but you can tell me. So as we are looking at these new presidents, the one thing which I've noticed is none of them are like having a clean record. All of them have their own nuances, problems, challenges. And, it's more like India. Now, people don't like Narendra Modi. Fine. The question is, who will lead if not this guy? Who else do you have? So in the same way, with these guys, okay, Donald Trump was at least making waves and being in the headlines, and every day you'd want to know, okay, what is he tweeting or what is he saying or some bloody unpredictable thing, but he was a man of action. This Joe Biden is, the only reports that come out, I don't know whether news like him or not. Oh, he's sleepy, or he's mumbling his words, or he's incoherent, or he doesn't know what he's saying. Anyway. And yes, one of, this guy Biden's key focus has been to undo everything Trump has done. Okay, now Barak referred to Al-Malik, who served as the go-getter between UAE officials and UAE's secret weapon to advance its foreign policy in Washington, according to DOJ. Now, why would UAE do this? I think the UAE leadership was looking at everything long term. That is why they bid for Expo 2020. That is why they had all this Pegasus software with Israel, which right now is a major scandal. And then they also had, what was that? Lobbying in US. And finally, the signing with Israel, which was the biggest shocker of them all. So UAE's leadership is looking far ahead into the future to survive. They're not looking at small, oh, does it make you happy with your religious beliefs and isn't in line with our forefathers, what they wanted. They are trying to usher in a new era of change. But now the question is, the steps that you're taking, will it do more harm than good, or will it work out? As of now, that is a big question. In fact, I think now their fingers are kind of crossed because of the Expo 2020 that's coming up. Anyway, after Donald Trump's election in 2016, Barak asked Al-Malik to create a wish list of US foreign policy goals that the UAE wanted from incoming Trump administration, according to the DOJ. Yeah, so we'll fund you or maybe get you elected, help you get elected. Just make sure, whatever we want is taken care of. Now, is this illegal? If it's a foreign country, yes. If it's done within the country with your sponsors, it's hardly. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at any politician, almost all of them, they have an agenda. And the agenda is simple. You get me elected, I'll take care of you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. I mean, hasn't that been the way things have gone on for years? Barak agreed to share non-public views with senior US government officials following a White House meeting with senior UAE officials in 2017. In September of 2017, Al-Malik, urging Barak, advised Trump against holding a proposal at Camp David to address the blockade of Qatar by UAE, Saudi, Bahrain and Egypt, according to DOJ. Barak used a dedicated cellular phone with a secure messaging app to communicate with the UAE officials, the US government said. They say that you can't hack into phones and nobody is going to spy. How did they find this out? Al-Malik also received tens of thousands of dollars a month from UAE intelligence service for acquiring useful information on Trump's administration policy in the Middle East in 2017, according to the 2019 media report that cited documents and unnamed officials. Al-Malik left the US after he was questioned by special US prosecutors in the Mueller investigation of Trump alleged campaign ties to Russia. That's another one. After all the drama and all the, Russia is going to pay and Russia interfered in the elections, what happened finally after making all this noise? China this, China that, China virus, and finally what happened? See, that if you actually look at politics now, I feel sometimes they're just taking people for a ride. They're just making you believe what you want to believe. And in the end, they're just taking, playing the game. Everyone's happy. I wouldn't be surprised if, China, Russia and all that, in front of the media, they're fighting. Behind closed doors, they're shaking hands and they're talking like friends and they're laughing. I remember there was this one particular clip of Barack Obama when he was speaking to Putin. He was telling him, make sure, he was whispering, but they caught it on camera. Make sure that you agree on this because my re-election is coming. This is so normal. Why people are acting as if these guys are innocent or this doesn't happen. It happens everywhere, man. Okay. Early in Trump administration, Barak was recruited by IP3 International, a US consortium, trying to sell nuclear electric power to Saudi Arabia. By the way, you remember how MBS shook hands with Trump when he purchased all the military. Then Qatar also said, we'll buy some military equipment, aircrafts. Then they were shaking hand. Then UAE came, oh, we'll also buy some. It's more like if you buy weapons from USA, they'll love you. If you don't buy, they'll say, oh, you're a bad guy. Remember, Trump was saying Qatar is harboring terrorists. And before you know it, the Qatar Emir comes there and Trump is shaking hands with them and now they are pally. Money does a lot of wonders here. Okay. The group also wanted Barack to access to Trump to win administration backing for IP3's plans of going around Congress to sell new US nuclear technology. Barack is the founder of private equity firm Colony Capital. He stepped down as chairman in EASH. My baby always likes to say yes. Okay. Executive chairman for April. Forbes estimated Barack's net worth at $1 billion. With so much power, you think they're going to put him in jail? Come on, man. US prosecutors in California asked Barack be held without bail, calling him an extremely wealthy and powerful individual with ties to Lebanon, UAE, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who poses serious flight risk, according to Associated Press. Yeah, he might pose risk not to the country, he will pose risk to the opposing party. Because in the end of the day, what I feel is there are no saints. Everybody is a sinner in some way or another. And everyone acts like, oh, he's a bad guy, we are good guys. If you get into American politics and you start listening to each one, in fact, listen to Fauci and and US Senator Randy or something, that they are arguing like children, man. And the most irritating of the lot, AOC, that female, I cannot tolerate her, man. Listening to her is like listening to a screeching of a chalkboard, you know, like putting acid, like vinegar on your teeth. Unbelievably irritating. I don't know how she even got into that position of power. Can't stand her. Anyway, these are my views about the UAE-US so-called scandal, which is just a drama to be busy. Money talks, power, power follows those who have money, or you could say vice versa. Money follows those who have power. This is just Biden's way of putting hurdles in front of Trump before the re-election. End of the day, nothing is going to happen here. They're just making all of us fools. It's just, which devil do you prefer? Or which lesser of two evils? Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Because for me, I feel UAE is not doing anything wrong. UAE is just doing what it needs to do to protect its future. Alright, you guys take care. Yes. You guys take care. Alright. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you. Yeah. My daughter. Take care.